living in a very chaotic time, as most of you are aware, and things that seem to be good old-fashioned common sense are out the window. And I'm seeing a lot more of these messages of people basically expressing the same thing. So I'll keep repeating the same thing to anyone who will listen. And if you've heard this once, it's okay if you hear it 1,000 times. God is not the author of fear. Fear comes from the devil. Fear comes from when people are not following God. There's this tendency to lean on everything else and to be a little bit like a chicken with the head cut off, running in every direction. But the direction we know brings hope, certainty, understanding. Now, I'm not telling you that I myself have all the answers, because I don't. There are things that are so disturbing to me that I cannot even believe that this is America. I'm having a hard time believing this. But mind you, be encouraged, because there are places around the world that are in their broadcasts. For example, someone sent me this, and I thought, and it's a bona fide news report, I believe coming out of I think it was out of Australia. And the gal, the talking head there, was talking about some very encouraging development in how we, listen to this, how we will all get, at least in their country maybe, microchipped. That will tell people if we're sick, if we're diseased, we'll be able to buy and sell without. Does that sound like anything you've ever heard? So obviously this is a person who's never read the Bible and doesn't know that that is actually what is foretold by John in the book of Revelation, taking the mark of the beast. You'll not be able to buy or sell without it. And then there are stranger things happening. And I'm just going to come out and say it. Listen, I try not to be political, but just think of this lunacy that we purportedly have a devout Catholic as the leader of our country who is advocating or supporting abortion. You go figure that out, and you can come back and tell me when you find the answer. Because no person who calls themselves, and I don't care if you want to parse now and say Catholic or Christian, but anyone who claims to be following God could not in their right mind go around advocating full support for murdering. And we're no longer talking about fetuses at between 1 and 3 months. We're talking about things that are being talked about now that are, you can't describe it as anything but murder, when we're being told by justices and places of law that a woman could terminate a child's life after giving birth to the child. And if you don't think that there's something very sick and warped about that, a full life. So let me get this straight. Mind you, in California, I guess you can go out and kill someone without consequence with the type of law enforcement. I'm not speaking of the people who enforce the law. I'm talking about our officials that are supposed to make sure the law is enforced. But I guess it's okay to support that type of murder, so we can wink at some and not at others. I don't know where this will end, folks, but all I can tell you is this is why I keep saying America needs to get back to its moorings. I don't care if you're a Jew, if you're a Muslim, or if you're a Christian. Find your way back to your faith and find your way to take a stand, because at least I will say this, I may not agree outside of the Christian faith, I may not agree with other people's interpretations, viewpoints, but at least belief in a higher power that is vehemently against these type of things will at least lead people back to some degree of normalcy, some degree. I don't say it solves all the problems essentially, because we've gone so far over the precipice, but just be braced, and like I said, try and encourage people around you to not succumb to this type of crazed fear-mongering that seems to be prevalent in every place that one looks. If you're seeking for information, you won't find it. What you'll find is a lot of people trying to scare you into going their way. And I tell you, I believe like salmon are going in the opposite direction. Okay, be like a salmon, folks. Go the other way, right? That's all I can tell you about that.
This house, magnify the Lord, lift up holy hands, our hearts in one accord. Worship house.